Hey, Eric, Northwestern with the new offensive coordinator this year. I'm just curious what you see that's maybe different about their attack under him than maybe what you've seen in the past.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different running game. Even though they're still going to be in some spread, they're implementing more use of tight ends, multiple tight end sets, hard tight ends in the package. I think they got a little better quarterback run game. We saw Peyton Ramsey last year, but he did some nice things when we played him and all throughout the year last year, and he's able to get out of trouble a little bit with the pass rush. He's able to create some real quarterback runs for himself. The passing game, it's similar but different routes, those types of things, more movement passes. But I think Coach Bajakian has done a really good job in the first two games, and he obviously did a really good job at Boston College as well.
24/7 Sports, Brian Christopherson.
Hey, Eric, what's the biggest distance you've seen Miles Farmer, Quentin, and Noah Pulla-Gates maybe cover since they've been here the last year? And I guess how do you feel about their position now as maybe playing some more this week for you and where they're at?
What was the first part again?
Just the distance they've covered in the last year from when they arrived to the program and your comfort level now and them maybe having a bigger role.
Yeah, I think the gap that they've bridged, so to speak, is they're catching up in knowledge of the game, knowledge of the system. With some of the other guys in the room, you could always tell when they first got here. Both of those guys are super athletic. They're all physical. Miles is a really long kid, and Noah's as twitchy of a guy that's on the football team. So it was just knowing what to be and just being able to have the coaches trust them that they're going to be able to do their job, snap in and snap out. And I think that they've both taken that under their wing, and they've took that constructive criticism, and they've got in the playbook. They've got extra film study. They've taken it upon themselves to bridge the gap that they had. And they've been taking reps with the ones and twos the entire, whatever we call this thing, fall camp or fall season or whatever it is now. But they've taken reps the ones and twos, and they've just consistently gained trust of myself, Coach Fisher, Coach Frost, and everybody else in the program. So I think those two have done a good job of taking it on their shoulders and showing us that they're ready for some Big Ten action.
Sean Callahan. Go ahead, Sean.
Hey, Coach, I know Isaac Gifford's been a guy, too, that's been talked about a lot. What have you seen from him, and how surprised are you that he's been able to kind of push himself up there with those other safeties here? And, in a week like this, you might have to use a guy like Isaac Gifford.
Yeah, not surprised. I mean, a pleasant surprise, but, a guy with like Isaac Gifford, we knew – well, you don't exactly always know what you're getting, but you think you know what you're getting. And a guy that comes from a great family with a great pedigree. Obviously, his brother was a really great player here and really understood football and was probably more athletic than he got credit for the entire time he was playing college football, maybe even now. Just like Isaac. Isaac's more athletic than he gets credit for, and he really understands football. He really wants to work at the game. He's accountable, he's dependable, and he's going to work hard every single snap. He's a guy that we know – whether we throw him out there at nickel or safety or probably even linebacker, he's going to know what he's doing and he's going to max himself out. So not a surprise that he's playing on special teams and getting some run on the defensive side of the ball.
And then is Northwestern, are they running more pro style? I mean, with their new system, and I mean, is it a completely different look from the spread that you've kind of known them to run for the last several years?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a little. I think it's a good mix, of pro style and college football offense because they do implement some of the quarterback run game, but then they're going to come back and have two tight ends and try to smash the ball a little bit, and they have a lot of pro style passes mixed in there with a little under center as well. So. I think that, Coach Bajakian, like I said, I think he's done a good job of using the personnel that they have and getting those guys in the right positions and letting them, make the plays that they're able to make and using their quarterback correctly. So I think the offense is a little different. But, once again, it's a mix of pro-style offense and some of the spread college stuff.
Parker Gabriel, Lincoln Journal-Star.
Eric, I know you said last week that you overall liked your rotation in the front seven. You had some outside linebackers over the course of the game, put a hand down, play from a 3-point stance. Did you do more of that against Ohio State than maybe last year? Or I guess, how do you like the versatility of that group to sort of be able to play on the line or a little bit off?
Yeah, I mean, I think that group has done a good job right now of embracing the fact that, when we're in base personnel, they're outside backers, and when we're in nickel personnel, they're defensive ends, and they still have some dropping responsibilities, but they can put their hand down a lot in the ground. So, a lot more. You guys watch the film. A lot more 4-down spacing, whatever you want to call it, 4-2-5, 4-3 defense, but a lot more of that. And those guys have embraced that role pretty well. And I think we're just you got to find a way to effectively use your personnel, and the effective way to use a lot of those guys is some hand in the ground and some standing up. So I think they've done a really great job. Coach Dawson's done a good job of teaching them when and where.
Got time for 2 more here for Chins. Sam McEwen, Omaha World Herald.
Erik, thanks for doing this. How did you think Deontay Williams played in that Ohio State game? And is there any sort of coaching you give him on? He's a very physical player, and you never want to remove that element of his game. But he did have the shoulder injury last year, and he got a targeting call, even if we don't necessarily agree with the call in the first game. Do you talk to him about how to play that and to maybe walk that line between making big hits but also not getting hurt again or anything like that?
Yeah, I think his body's good. His shoulder's fixed. I think his shoulder's at 100%. So I don't think that's our worry right now. He's playing pretty free. I thought he played a really good football game. Everybody can get better. Obviously, every single person that's on our field has some things to clean up. But he played a good football game. He was physical. On the hit, it's a fine line. Did he take his head out of it? Yes. Did he hit in the strike zone? I thought so. Did he launch? No, but they called it, so it's getting to the point where you're telling those DBs that they got to go real low. And that's just it's a shame, because I think there's a lot more injuries that come from slicing guys' knees out all the time than hitting in the strike zone where we're teaching them to hit. So, we're going to talk to some Big Ten officials and just see how they want us to correct it. I'm not questioning their call. I just want to get it corrected and make everybody play safely and appropriately.
How would you describe Miles Farmer's game? Just like, what kind of player is he? It's possible that fans and us will see him more this week than maybe we have in the past. How would you describe his game?
Yeah, I think he's I would describe him as a very active safety. He can cover a lot of ground quickly because of his length and because of his speed, and he's also a very physical kid. He can be physical at the line of scrimmage. He can be a physical tackler. He's physical on reroutes in the perimeter. But like I said, in the post, he can cover a lot of ground as well, and I feel pretty good about him in man coverage. So I think he's what we were looking for when we recruited those guys. So I think he's going to come out and have a really good football game. He's ready to play. Like I said, he's practiced the right way all through this whole fall camp, knowing that his shot is one play away, and he's ready to take it.
Last one for Coach. Michael Bruntz, 247 Sports.
Hey, Erik, just kind of talking about Feldarius Payne and kind of what he did for you in that opener. Is he kind of grown into the player that you thought he would be when you recruited him, and maybe his versatility, I guess, how is that kind of helping your defense right now?
Yeah, he's getting there. He was a guy that had an injury coming out of junior college, so he didn't get as much work in the offseason as we'd have liked to have, but he's done a good job with the reps that he's got, and he's made himself into a contributor right away. I think he's just going to continue to get better and better as he gets more reps, as he gets more real game action. But he's a guy that's got a really bright future. He can rush the passer, he can set the edge. He's got some pretty good explosive, side-to-side explosiveness when he's on the line of scrimmage. So he's one of those guys where we need a couple of those guys that can we can turn them on and go get after the quarterback when we need to, and also they can go play the quarterback in the zone read stuff. But he's done a really good job in just immersing himself in college football in Nebraska, the system, just day-to-day life. How does it change from being at junior college to a Big Ten institution? But he's done a great job with that, and he's a guy that we feel great about. We can count on him. Does everything the right way. So I just think he's only scratched the surface of what he's going to be.